Plaintiff Jacinica Mays says the defendant is her adopted sister. They had a great relationship until the defendant's teenage years. Jacinica says the defendant went from being a troubled teen to a beautiful young woman, but she's suing her today for breach of contract and car keys. Defendant Trinisha Sanders says as a result of being adopted by Jacinica's family, she never felt close to any of them, including Jacinica. Trinisha is countersuing because she claims Jacinica harassed her at her job, and as a result, she was fired.
All right, tell me what happened.
Miss Sanders is my adopted sister, and she came into the home when she was younger. I was the older sister. We had a great relationship until her more so teenage years, where she began to do her running away from the home, not doing as great in school.
What do you think happened?
I know it has to do with the adoption issue and things of that nature too. I do understand that, sir. But in addition to that, Trinisha kind of just wanted to do what she wanted to do, in my opinion. Again, the relationship was fine until the teenage years. After the teenage years kind of separated, in her early 20s, we got closer until this situation here. And the reason why I thought that it was okay to do what I did before coming here was because I saw Trinisha go from a somewhat troubled teen to a beautiful young woman who's doing great for herself. So that's the reason for me here today.
And you loaned her money on a car or something?
No, sir. In October of 2011, I had a party in which Trinisha came to the party. After it was over, Trinisha and her cousin was on the way home. Trinisha's car was taken because Trinisha and her cousin got into an argument. They jumped out the car.
We'll get to the details.
Okay,
but,
I'm sorry.
That's why I was asking, isn't this about a car?
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, okay. All right. You were being a good sister. She changed your life. My big brother did that for me. Once I turned my life around and was in college, big brother Ron, he helped me get a car. So that's a good thing to do when they change their lives. Young lady, you tell me about you and your sister's relationship.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, me and Jacinica never really had a relationship. She didn't live at the house. Her daughter lived there. She would come over when she got out of school. We didn't really have no relationship at all. Me and her was never close.
How often did she come over?
Every day, almost. She was in school, so she wasn't living there, you know.
And you would be there?
Yes, I would be there.
You all wouldn't speak?
I mean, we would speak, but we didn't really have a relationship at all.
Okay.
You know, I didn't feel close to the family at all due to, you know, the adoption and everything.
Ask you about a close relationship. Did you have a relationship?
Yeah, we had a relationship.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought you were telling me you didn't, but go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, a couple years
Wasn't close. Let's make that clear. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay,
You
a
gotta
couple years
understand
ago.
what you're saying, because I gotta know who's telling the truth.
Right.
And at some point, there's gonna be a dispute here.
Right, of
And
course
so I
she
need
was
to know
there.
who's
We
telling
just-
the
we
truth.
just wasn't
Because
close.
if you say you didn't have a good relationship with somebody who helped you get a car, that's a little odd. You didn't have a close relationship. You just saw each other every day and spoke to each other every day. What else?
Right. And basically a couple years ago, we started to get close. I started to talk to her to try to build a better relationship with her. And I mean, it all ended when she told me to suck her, you know, bleed.
All right. Go ahead.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Go ahead. Go
Your
ahead.
Honor, Trinisha was like 8 years older,
Ma'am,
so I was older. So, and yeah, she did say my daughter
Ma'am,
was,
if you're 8 years older than a sibling, and you come home and you speak to them every day, I don't know what else they could expect.
Okay.
But nonetheless, let's get to the breach of contract that you're suing her for and the car keys.
Okay. October 6, 2011 was my birthday. I had a birthday party. Trinisha was in Michigan because she was she was in New York at that time. So she came to Michigan. I had a birthday party. I received a phone call from, I can't remember, my mother. It had to be my mother because Trinisha's phone was taken too. Like at 4 in the morning saying that Trinisha's car had been taken. Trinisha and her cousin got into an argument. This is per Tranisha telling me what happened. They got into an argument. They jumped out the car at 4-something in the morning on Boston and Linwood. The gentleman at the Citgo gas station, Opportunity, took her car. Her car is gone. Okay, that's that day. Tranisha had to go back to Georgia. So it was I who, for November, December, going around the neighborhood looking just to see, because per Tranisha, the police told her they don't go looking for stolen cars, they stumble across them. So therefore, I would go and just sporadically just look around to see if I see the car. I would go back to the gas station to ask the men that hang around there, have you seen the car? I go ask the store owner, any word on this gentleman, the name that they gave me, has he come back? Nothing. I did that for about 2 months or so. In that time frame, I'm still talking to Tranisha. The relationship grew. I'm not gonna say we talked every day, but Your Honor, out of a week, we would talk at least 3 days. And even if we didn't talk,
You talked enough to be out of nearly 2,000. That's for sure. Go ahead.
so within talking to her, and Tranisha never just said, I suggested. And I suggested the car only because she indicated to me that she had to take 3 buses and a ferry. That's one way. She never actually said anything to me about helping her get a car, none of that, but I'm hearing this. I also know the fact that, okay, well, my daughter is in the process the following month, she's gonna get a car. So by her getting a car to help her credit, build her credit, I can offer this to Tranisha based on my
situation. Any favors?
Offer what? What was the agreement?
The agreement was that I asked Tranisha first, can you afford the car note and insurance? $253.53, $155, $408.53. Tranisha said yes, she could. Wow, that's good. $253, yes, I can. So we discussed all of that information on the phone. Tranisha, once I find out what's what with Crystal getting a car, so we will have one. If you want it, you can afford it, you can come and get it.
I was already in the market to get a car.
Yes, she
you
was.
You didn't do me any favors. I didn't need to get the car from her at all.
Yes,
I was already in the market. She called me and asked me.
Why did you accept it?
Well, because I needed a car. So, of course, I had to.
Be quiet, man. I don't want the people to laugh at you anymore. You just made a big fool out of yourself. She didn't do me any favor. Why'd you say? Because I needed it. Go ahead, go ahead, man.
She didn't per se ask.
I understand. She needed it though. She said, you do people favors if you give them something that they needed. That's called a favor.
I just
go
felt
ahead,
that
man.
When I
What was
offered
the
that
agreement?
to her,
Let's get to the
she
agreement.
said
I know
that
how
she
you
would
felt.
pay it, Your Honor. So we discussed some things. I said, well, Tranisha, if you want the car,
Ma'am, how
come
did she
get it.
breach the contract?
Because she brought the car back on September 19th and said transaction complete. She brought it back the day that the car note was due for the month of September. That's how she breached.
And what months are you suing her for?
September and October.
All right. And the car keys.
The car key. I have a text message saying keep the money. The key is in the trunk. There is no key, Your Honor. I called.
Okay.
And
how much do you want for the key?
This $500. I called and I have to get all the cylinders replaced later.
$500. All right. Let me have what you want me to have. Ma'am, what's your defense?
Basically, I never said that the key was in the trunk, for one. When I dropped the car off, she already knew that I was going to put it in her mom's mailbox. She told me don't get her mom.
Got that part. What else?
I'm sorry?
I got that part about the key. What about the other? The payments? She's suing you for car payments?
Right.
That you failed
I made
to
the
pay?
payments when I had the car from, when I had the car in March, all the way, I made 6 payments and I paid the car note and the insurance.
Why don't you think you should have to pay her after you returned it and breached the contract? You didn't keep it like you had agreed to.
Well, that's because we started arguing. And
Can't do that to the finance company. you can't get in an argument with the finance company and say, I'm bringing this car back. And they say, oh, okay, you don't have to pay anymore.
You're correct, but she told me that I can bring it back. She said, bring it back, I'll give you back your money. This was a back and forth conversation between us. This was verbal. Back and forth on the phone. She said, well, bring my back or whatever.
Okay, so that's why you don't think you owe for the months that you failed to pay?
No, because she had the car back.
Oh,
She
okay.
got her car back. She
But
got
you
the
breached
500.
an agreement. You breached an agreement. The agreement was for you to keep the car and pay it off.
Correct.
And you breached that when you brought it back. Unless she told you to bring it back, and you have to show me proof that she did so. You have any evidence of that?
This is my evidence, but
That she told you to bring the car back?
well, that text message isn't on here, but I
Does
did
it
have
say
it.
she told you to bring the car back?
No, it's not on here.
Very good. Your counterclaim for $3,151 for car payments, defamation, and harassment.
Well, basically, I lost my job dealing with this situation because she kept calling, harassing me, harassing my employees that was under me. So basically, with the defamation of character,
Okay.
they went and talked to my boss, and this was a back and forth situation. She felt like I couldn't keep my situation under control. At first, I was not
You have a
terminated.
letter saying why you were fired? You read it. You read the part that says why you were fired.
Well, that's not in here.
Oh,
I couldn't get that from my boss.
All
They're
right,
not gonna
judgment
put
for
that.
the plaintiff. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Your
Thank you,
claim is
Your
dismissed.
To be honest, I have love for Tanisha, and I hope she does nothing but to continue to grow. I never wanted to bring you to court, Tanisha.
Yes, you did.
But we're
Yes,
here.
you did. Apparently.
And as I told you, the judge will make the final decision.
Apparently,
and
you
he
did. Apparently, you did.
Thank you.
Because you don't care. You don't
Evidently,
have a soul.
I did
Evidently,
care because
you don't have a
remember
soul.
what I did for you.
Whatever.
Okay,
Whatever.
Tanisha, you take care, baby girl.
Yeah, right.